First contact. The savage. The sky above Earth was blue, clear, and warm, but inside the silver alien ship, everything felt cold. Varel, a young alien diplomat from the planet Karun, sat quietly in her seat. Her hands were shaking. Her purple skin glowed faintly under the soft lights. Her eyes stared at the screen in front of her. It showed a picture of a human. Dangerous. Aggressive. Unpredictable. That's what the old galactic reports said about humans. Never show fear. Never get too close. That's what her teachers always told her. But now she was here, above Earth, sent to make peace. Varel took a deep breath. I can do this, she whispered to herself. Her voice sounded weak. Even she didn't believe it. The ship slowly landed near a human military base. It was the safest place for first contact. At least, that's what the council believed. Varel wasn't so sure. As the ship doors opened, the Earth's air touched her face. It was warm, fresh, not like the cold halls of the space station. She stepped outside slowly, holding a translator device tightly in her hand. And then she saw him. A tall human stood just a few meters away. His skin was tan, his eyes sharp. He wore green military clothes and boots that crushed the dry grass under him. His hands were empty, but his body looked like a weapon. Captain Ryan Carter, Earth's chosen representative. He didn't move. He just watched her. Varel froze. Her translator buzzed. It tried to understand the words he was saying. Prepare to destro. Her eyes widened. Her heart raced. Destroy? She panicked and turned to run back to her ship. But her foot slipped, and she fell to the ground. The translator sparked in her hand, glitching. Captain Ryan rushed forward. His boots hit the ground with heavy thuds. To her, it sounded like a charging beast. No! No! Stay back! She screamed. But her voice was too soft. Ryan reached out and grabbed her arm gently, and everything went black. When Varel opened her eyes, she was lying on a soft bed in a small white room. A warm light glowed above. Her body felt heavy. Her arm was bandaged. She looked around and saw something strange. A flower, small, yellow, and sitting in a cup of water beside her bed. A human flower. The door opened. It was him again. Captain Ryan. He held a tray of food. Simple Earth food. Bread, fruit, and something in a cup that smelled like warm herbs. You're awake, he said softly. The translator on the table finally worked. I'm not here to destroy you, he said with a smile. I said, do you need help? Varel blinked. Her face turned a deeper shade of purple. She sat up slowly. I misunderstood. It's okay. First contact is never easy, Ryan said. He placed the tray next to her. We didn't know what you eat, so we kept it simple. Varel stared at the food, unsure. Thank you, she said. Ryan sat on a chair across the room. He didn't stare at her. He looked at the floor. He was giving her space. Respect. Your people think we are savages, right? He asked suddenly. Varel looked at him. She didn't answer. Ryan chuckled. You're not the first alien to think that. You're not what I expected, she said. What did you expect, fangs and fire? She smiled without meaning to. Ryan stood up. I'll let you rest, but if you need anything, just ask. He walked to the door. Before leaving, he turned and said, by the way, your translator is slow. You might want to update it. And then he left. Varel sat in silence. She picked up the flower. Its petals were soft, delicate. She leaned in and smelled it. Suddenly, a flash. Her vision changed. The room disappeared. She saw a memory that wasn't hers, humans and aliens standing together, laughing, building something, a strange symbol floating in the sky. A voice whispered, one savage, one seeker, peace will come. She gasped and dropped the flower. The vision vanished. "What was that?" she whispered. Her hand was still glowing faintly. Outside the room, Ryan stood quietly watching the monitor. He saw her drop the flower. He saw the glow. He frowned. "She's not just a diplomat," he said under his breath. Back inside, Virel stared at her reflection in the mirror. She touched her face. "I don't understand humans," she whispered, "but I want to." Alien, fears, human smiles. Virel sat on the edge of the hospital bed, fingers tracing the edges of the flower that had triggered something. Ancient. Her thoughts were loud, wild, tangled. "What did I see?" she whispered to herself. She tried to calm down, but her heart wouldn't stop racing. Her body still remembered the touch of the human, the way Ryan's hand had gently held her arm. He didn't hurt her. He helped her. But the old warnings echoed in her mind. Humans are unstable. Their emotions can infect. She turned to the door. Captain Ryan hadn't returned yet. The silence made her nervous. She looked around the room, plain white walls, a large window, a soft hum from the machines. Everything was calm, too calm. She stood up slowly, wobbling slightly. Her legs were still weak from the shock. She needed answers. She opened the door and stepped into the hallway. Human soldiers passed by, nodding politely. No one stared at her. No one attacked. Still, she felt like every eye was a weapon, every smile a hidden danger. As she walked, her translator buzzed. A private message. From High Council of Karun, Virel. Your contact with the human must remain limited. Observe. Do not engage emotionally. They are unstable. They are dangerous. We are monitoring you. She frowned and closed the message. The council didn't understand. Maybe they never wanted peace. Maybe they wanted to prove that humans were too wild to trust. She reached a glass door that led to a garden outside. Flowers, grass, trees. Earth was filled with life. So different from her own dry and silent world. And there he was. Captain Ryan, sitting on a bench, feeding something to a tiny creature, a squirrel. It sat on his knee, taking nuts from his hand. He laughed softly as it jumped away. Virel tilted her head. This was the savage? He looked up and noticed her watching. "Hey," he said with a smile. "Didn't expect you to leave the room so soon." She stepped outside carefully, as if the very ground might explode beneath her. "I, needed air," she said. Ryan nodded. "Yeah, Earth's got pretty good air." She didn't smile. She just stared at the spot where the squirrel had been. "You were laughing?" she said quietly. Ryan raised an eyebrow. "Is that bad?" "No. It's just, I've never seen a human laugh in real life." He chuckled again. "You might want to get used to it. We do it a lot." There was a silence between them, soft but thick. "Your people think we're monsters," Ryan said after a moment. "I don't blame them." Virel looked away. "They told me you'd try to manipulate me, that humans are good with words, that you smile before you strike." Ryan didn't respond for a second. "Then," he said, "we smile when we're nervous, when we're scared, when we're trying to make others feel safe." He looked directly at her. "That's all I'm trying to do." Something twisted inside her. A quiet storm. She didn't know if it was fear, or curiosity, or something else. "I saw something," she said suddenly. Ryan leaned forward. "What kind of something?" "A vision. A message. When I touched your flower." His face turned serious. "What did you see?" "Aliens and humans. Together. A strange symbol. And a voice. It said, 'One savage. One seeker. Peace will come.'" Ryan leaned back slowly. "Sounds like prophecy stuff." "It's real," she said firmly. "It was not just a dream." "Do you think you're the seeker?" Ryan asked, his voice soft now. Virel didn't answer. She wasn't sure, but something inside her was shifting, and it frightened her. Before either could speak again, her comms device buzzed sharply. Emergency alert. Diplomat Varel, return to ship immediately. Unknown object approaching Earth. Possible threat. Mission abort recommended. She gasped. Something's coming. Ryan stood quickly. We've picked it up too. It's not one of ours. He looked at her. You think it's from your people? No, she said. My people would not approach like this. Not in secret. A loud alarm began to echo from the base. Red lights blinked. Soldiers started running to their stations. Ryan turned to her. Come with me. We're safer inside. But before they could move, a sudden blast of energy hit the ground near the garden, far enough to avoid damage but close enough to scare. Both fell to the ground. Varel screamed as a dark shape descended in the sky. A sleek black ship, Carunian stealth class, but the markings were different. Not official. Rogue. Ryan grabbed her hand and pulled her to cover. That's one of yours, right? He shouted. No, she said, breathing hard. That ship is illegal. It belongs to the Purity sect, extremists. Ryan stared at her. They came for you? Yes. They don't want peace. They want to stop this. Another blast shook the base. Varel looked into Ryan's eyes. If they find out about the vision, they'll kill you? He asked. She nodded. Ryan held her close and whispered, Not on my watch. The hidden link. The sky was no longer blue. It had turned a deep, pulsing red as the rogue alien ship hovered in silence over the Earth base. Soldiers rushed through the corridors. Sirens echoed across the facility, and deep inside the bunker, Varel stood frozen in front of a digital screen, her heart pounding harder than the alarms. The black ship in the sky wasn't just a threat. It was a message. They know I saw the vision, she whispered. Captain Ryan stood beside her, holding a sidearm, his jaw tight. Tell me everything, no more secrets. Varel turned to him. I wasn't sent just to observe humans. I was chosen because of something else, something old. Ryan narrowed his eyes. What do you mean? She hesitated. The vision from the flower, it wasn't random. I think I'm connected to an ancient prophecy, one that my people buried long ago. It speaks of two beings, a seeker and a savage, who must unite to bring peace between species. It was forbidden knowledge, hidden from most Kairun minds. And they think that's you? And me? She nodded slowly. Now the Purity sect wants to stop it. They believe humans are chaos and anyone who bonds with them is corrupted. Ryan stepped closer. And you think you're bonding with me? She didn't answer, but she didn't need to. The silence between them was louder than words. The ground trembled. A deep hum vibrated through the walls. Then the ship outside released a signal pulse. Electronic systems flickered. Some of the human screens turned black. Others showed Carunian text, warped, corrupted. Varel translated quickly. Surrender the diplomat. Remove the infection. Return to purity. They think I'm infected, she said quietly. With emotion, Ryan replied. With humanity. They'll kill me, she whispered. And if they can't, they'll destroy the entire base just to erase the connection between us. He turned sharply to her. Then we need to get you out of here. They rushed through the steel corridors, dodging panicked staff and flickering lights. Every few seconds the base shuddered like the earth itself was groaning. Varel's hand glowed faintly again. Her breath came in gasps, but not from fear, something deeper. A strange warmth was spreading through her chest. She could feel Ryan near her without looking. She could feel his emotions. She didn't understand it. She'd never been this close to anyone, not even among her own species. But now this savage was inside her thoughts, pulling feelings out of her that had no name in her language. Stop, she said suddenly. Ryan paused. What is it? My body's reacting. To something old, something under this place. He looked confused. What are you talking about? She closed her eyes and placed her palm on the wall. Her skin glowed brighter. There's something buried here. Under the base. He looked around. There's no known structure beneath. This location, just stone. Not stone, she said. Crystal. Ancient crystal. Her hand sparked. For a brief second, the wall flickered like holographic glass, and behind it a massive alien structure glimmered deep in the rock, hidden for centuries. Ryan stepped back, stunned. This was here the whole time? She nodded slowly. It's a Karun archive. From before our society turned cold. Before we feared emotion. You think this archive is connected to the prophecy? Varel's voice turned sharp. I know it is. With Ryan leading the way, they reached a hidden maintenance shaft and climbed down through a dark vertical tunnel. The deeper they went, the warmer it became, like the rock itself was breathing. After several minutes, they stepped into a vast underground chamber. The walls pulsed with faint blue light. Crystals grew from the floor like frozen trees. In the Yedo center stood a tall pillar of energy humming with ancient power. Varel approached it slowly. It's alive, she said. Not like a person, more like a memory. Ryan watched her. What happens if you touch it? She looked over her shoulder. I don't know, but I think I have to. Before he could stop her, she reached out and placed her hand on the crystal. The light exploded. She was somewhere else. A field of stars surrounded her. Giant beings of light and shadow floated above. Voices whispered truths into her mind, too fast to catch but clear in feeling. She saw Earth and Karun together. She saw war. Then she saw peace. She saw two souls, hers and someone human, locked in a spiral of energy. And then, a single message burned into her mind. You are the seeker. He is the flame. Together you change the galaxy, or burn in it. She gasped as she fell backward, landing hard against the ground. Ryan caught her just before she hit the floor. Her skin was glowing brighter than ever. Her eyes were wide with tears. I saw it, she said. It's real. We were chosen. Ryan helped her sit up. Then we fight for it. Before they could speak again, the walls shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Varel's comm buzzed one final time. Final warning. Ship charging primary weapon. 90 seconds to impact. They're going to fire at the base, Ryan said, eyes wide. We'll all die. No, Varel said, voice firm now. We won't let that happen. She stood, touched the glowing pillar again, but this time it responded with power. The crystal split open, revealing a holographic console, a forgotten interface from the old Karun civilization. She moved her hands across the symbols. I'm activating the field. What field? She looked at Ryan with fierce eyes. Hope. Above, ground, the rogue ship charged its cannon. Lights pulsed. Energy gathered. Then, boom, a shockwave blasted upward from the earth. A massive dome of energy erupted around the base, forming a glowing shield. The beam from the rogue ship struck the field and shattered. The base was safe. For now. Back in the underground chamber, Ryan stared at her. You just saved the entire base. No, Varel said softly. We did. They stood in silence for a moment, the light of the crystals painting their faces. Then he whispered, So, what happens now? She looked up at him, and for the first time her lips trembled into a smile. We change everything. The protective dome above the Earth base still shimmered like liquid glass. Inside, humans cheered. Outside, the rogue Karunian ship spun in retreat, its beam weapon disabled by ancient energy it never expected to face. But deep below the base, in the hidden chamber, Varel stood quiet. The glowing crystal hummed softly beside her, like it was alive. Its energy had merged with her. She wasn't just a diplomat anymore. She was something else now. Something dangerous, something chosen, and that terrified her. Ryan sat nearby, his military jacket half off, eyes locked on her. "You did it," he said. "You stopped a war." Virel didn't answer. She stared at her own hands. They weren't glowing anymore. They were still. Silent. But inside, her thoughts were louder than ever. "I shouldn't have done it," she finally whispered. Ryan frowned. "What are you talking about?" She stood slowly, her voice cold. "I wasn't supposed to interfere. I broke my orders. The council warned me never to act emotionally, and I did everything they feared." Ryan got up, walked toward her. "You saved lives. If that's wrong, then your orders are broken. They'll say I'm corrupted. Are you?" Her eyes met his. There was pain there. Conflict. "I don't know anymore," she said. Hours later, she sat alone in the Earth Base's guest quarters. The flower Ryan gave her, the one that showed her the vision, was now dried and sealed in a glass tube. She held it like a relic. Like a sin. Her communicator blinked red. Incoming high-level transmission. She knew who it was. She hesitated, then answered. The hologram of Ambassador Tazar, her mentor and the one who trained her for this mission, appeared. His voice was firm, his eyes cold. "Virel of Kaerun, you are in violation of peaceful contact protocols. You have engaged in unauthorized ancient technology. You have formed an emotional attachment to a human. Explain yourself." She swallowed hard. "They were going to die. I used what I found to protect them. You exposed forbidden archives. You revealed the ancient prophecy. Because it's real," she snapped, louder than she meant to. "It wasn't myth. I saw it. I felt it. It's inside me now." Tazar's expression didn't change. He spoke like reading a death sentence. "Return to orbit immediately. You will be isolated and evaluated for mental influence. The human base will be scanned for memory removal." Virel's heart stopped. "What? No. You can't erase them. You've lost objectivity. You are compromised. You are infected." Then he said the words that shook her to her core. "Do not see the human again. This is your final warning." The signal ended. That night, Virel stood on the balcony of the base watching Earth's sky. So many stars. So many lies. She felt a presence behind her. She didn't turn. "I thought they might call you back," Ryan said softly. "They did," she whispered. "They said I'm infected." Ryan leaned on the railing beside her. "With what? Humanity?" "They think emotions are a disease," she replied. "That love is poison, that if I stay near you long enough I'll forget who I am. Maybe that's not a bad thing." She finally looked at him. "I'm scared, Ryan." He nodded. "So am I." She hesitated. "They told me not to see you again." Ryan looked up at the stars. "And what do you want?" Her answer was quiet, but clear. "I don't want to leave." He turned to her. The world slowed. The wind held its breath. And for a moment, all the noise, all the orders, all the warnings disappeared. She stepped forward, and they stood close, their hands brushing, not a kiss, not yet, but something just as strong. Then a sudden alert shattered the silence. Intruder breach. North Hangar. Ryan's comm exploded with voices. "Unauthorized craft inside the dome. We've been boarded. They..." Both turned. "Not now," she muttered. "They're trying again." They raced to the hangar where soldiers aimed rifles at a small stealth pod that had pierced the dome. From the smoke, a figure emerged, tall, robed, and unmistakably Kaerunian. It was Tazar. In person. "Stand down," Virel shouted. "Don't." "Fire!" The soldiers hesitated. Tazar walked slowly toward her, ignoring the humans completely. "You left me no choice," he said. Ryan stepped forward. She made a choice to protect us. You should be thanking her. Tazar's face twisted. And what are you, human? A pet? A mistake? A threat to the galaxy's balance? Ryan didn't flinch. I'm the reason she found truth. Tazar raised a device, a memory extractor. You will forget her, and she will be brought home. Virel's body pulsed with energy. She stepped between them. No. Step aside, Virel. You are not thinking clearly. I'm thinking clearly for the first time in my life. Then, her body glowed again, brighter than before. The crystal energy responded to her heartbeat. Tazar's eyes widened. You activated the link. Yes, she said, and I choose to protect it. She raised her hand and the ground shook. The dome above flickered once, then spread across the sky, connecting with orbit. She was expanding the shield. I am the seeker. He is the flame. Together, we are the answer, not the threat. Ryan stood beside her, weapon down, eyes locked on her. Then burn it all, he said. Let's change the rules. Tazar stepped back slowly, retreating to his ship. This is treason, Virel. You'll be hunted. She didn't blink. Then let them come. As the rogue ship lifted off and vanished, Ryan turned to her. What now? She looked up at the stars. We find others like us, and we light the galaxy. Attack from the shadows. The night sky above the Earth base looked peaceful. Stars blinked in silence, and the protective energy dome shimmered faintly above like a second sky. But Virel didn't feel peace. She stood by a wide window deep inside the base's research tower. The reflection of her glowing purple eyes stared back at her in the glass. Something inside her had changed since she touched the ancient crystal. Her thoughts were louder, her emotions stronger. And now, she could feel things she couldn't explain, like someone watching her. She turned quickly, but no one was there. Just silence. Still, her skin tingled with warning. She wasn't alone. Meanwhile, in the base's command center, Captain Ryan reviewed new satellite scans. His team was tracking the rogue Karun faction, the Purity sect who had retreated after the failed attack, but they hadn't gone far. We picked up a stealth signal 30 kilometers out, one soldier said. It's not human tech. Ryan's brow furrowed. They're still here. He leaned closer to the monitor. A faint shimmer moved through the trees near the outer perimeter. Then his comm buzzed. It was Virel. Ryan. I think something is wrong. I can feel it. His eyes hardened. Stay where you are. I'm coming. Virel tried to stay calm as she walked down the hallway back toward her room. But with every step, her senses screamed. Louder. She passed a mirror, and for a split second she saw a shadowy figure behind her. She spun around. Nothing. She touched her wrist and activated her defensive field. A glowing shield shimmered briefly over her skin. She'd only trained with it once. Diplomats weren't warriors. But tonight she didn't feel like a diplomat. She felt hunted. She turned the corner, and the light suddenly cut out. Darkness swallowed the hallway. Her breath caught. And then, a whisper in Karunian tongue. Emotion is weakness, purity is strength. A tall, masked figure stepped out of the shadows. Long limbs, black cloak, silver blade glowing in his hand. His voice was cold and robotic. You've brought shame to your species. You will be cleansed. Virel stepped back. I won't go with you. You were chosen once, but you chose corruption. He lunged. She raised her hand and her shield flared, deflecting the blade, but the force threw her against the wall. Pain exploded through her back, but she didn't scream. She rolled and stood, eyes glowing brighter. I chose truth. The assassin attacked again, fast, skilled, silent. She dodged barely in time, her shield flickering. The blade cut her arm, shallow, but enough to draw blood. She gasped, her knees buckled. The assassin raised his blade again. Then, a gunshot. The attacker staggered back, clutching his side. Ryan stood at the end of the hall, smoke rising from his pistol. I said stay away from her, he growled. The assassin hissed and threw something, a flash charge. Light exploded. When their vision returned, he was gone. Ryan rushed to Varel and held her up. "You okay?" She nodded weakly. "I think so." He was purity sect. He called me corrupted. "You are?" he said with a small smile. "Corrupted by charm?" She rolled her eyes through the pain. "Terrible timing for jokes. Pain medicine helps, but sarcasm heals faster." They laughed quietly. Even in the chaos, their bond grew deeper. Hours later, Varel sat in the med bay as human doctors patched her arm. Ryan stood nearby, watching quietly. "I've been hunted before," she said, softly, "but never for feeling." Ryan looked serious now. "This isn't just politics anymore, it's personal for them. You've become a symbol." "A threat," she added. He nodded. "And maybe a spark." As dawn approached, news of the assassination attempt spread, but something unexpected happened. Other Karunian citizens across the galaxy began speaking out. Some secretly messaged Earth stations, some posted encrypted symbols, the Seeker's Mark, the symbol Varel had activated from the crystal. Even a few alien diplomats on other worlds began to whisper the prophecy aloud. "One savage, one seeker. Peace will come." Inside the Earth base's central command, Ryan and Varel stood before a screen showing the galaxy. Flashpoints appeared in glowing dots. Varel traced one with her finger. "That's my home city, they're protesting." Ryan smirked. "You're more popular than you think." She turned serious. "And more in danger." Suddenly the screen changed. A new encrypted message appeared. Origin unknown. It contained a single phrase in ancient Karunian code. "You are not alone. The Seeker has awakened. Await contact." Ryan stared. "Someone's organizing." "Someone who believes," Varel said. Her heart raced. "The rebellion is starting." But just as hope lit the room, another alert flashed. "Security breach. Internal systems." Ryan's face darkened. "Someone's already inside the base again." Varel's glow flickered. "A traitor?" "Yes," Ryan said, gripping his pistol. "And this time, they're not wearing a mask." That night, while the base slept, a Karunian diplomat assigned to Earth, Ambassador Thelen, stood silently in the dark, speaking into a hidden communicator. "Phase 2 is ready. The girl is unstable. The human is in too deep. I will take care of them." A red light blinked, then silence. He turned, staring at the sleeping base. His eyes burned with zealotry. Back in her room, Varel watched the stars again. But tonight, they didn't feel cold. She whispered, "They're afraid of what we could become." Ryan nodded, beside her. "They should be." She turned to him. "You stayed with me through all of this, even when I was afraid." "I wasn't staying because I had to," he said. He leaned closer. "I stayed because I couldn't walk away." Their hands touched, and for the first time she didn't pull away. Not from the emotion, not from the risk, not from him. The peace they fear. The galaxy was burning, not with war, but with questions. Across distant colonies and hidden starports, the Seeker's Mark appeared on walls, hollow terminals, and coded transmissions. Aliens whispered stories once buried in shame. Humans received mysterious messages from Karun sympathizers, and the message spreading like wildfire. She lives. He stands beside her. Peace is possible. But not everyone welcomed this hope. Inside the Earth diplomatic base, Varel stood, in a darkened council chamber, staring at a map of Karun space. Dots flashed. Some green, some red. "Those are protests," she said. Ryan stood beside her. "And those red zones?" "Raids. The purity sect is fighting back. They're calling this a sickness, a cultural infection." He shook his head. "They're scared, a few." "No," she whispered. They're scared of us. Later, in a secure conference room, Varel sat across from a small panel of Earth and alien ambassadors. The room was tense, cold. Ambassador Thelen, the senior Karun diplomat on Earth, sat still, expression unreadable. Varel spoke with calm clarity. I request a diplomatic summit, one where humans and alien leaders can speak openly. No guards, no translators, no weapons, just truth. Thelen smiled. A beautiful dream, but foolish. Ryan frowned. We've already seen what fear creates. It's time to try something else. Another diplomat nodded slowly. You're not wrong, but this will draw fire from both sides. Varel's voice didn't waver. Let them come. We don't fight with bullets. We fight with presence. Thelen's eyes narrowed. Be careful, child. Hope has teeth. Within days, preparations began. A neutral moon, long abandoned, was chosen for the summit. No armies, no weapons, just 25 representatives. From 10 species, it was a risk, but it was history. The night before departure, Varel stood outside the base with Ryan. Stars blinked above like they were watching. I've never felt so exposed, she said quietly. Ryan looked up at the sky. That's when people listen. She glanced at him. Are you coming because Earth told you to? He looked at her. No, he said. I'm coming because you didn't. The summit began beneath a glass dome built into the moon's surface. Varel stood on the central platform, surrounded by silent, tense leaders. A Karun elder glared at her. A human general whispered with suspicion, but she began to speak. In every world we teach our children stories, of heroes, of monsters, of how to survive. But what if the monster we warned them about is actually the one who speaks peace? Some murmured. Others fell still. She looked directly at a Zalari representative. You fear humans because they feel too much. You fear Karun because we feel too little. But I stand here now, proof that something in between is possible. Ryan stepped beside her. Humanity is not perfect. We fight. We fail. We're flawed. But we learn. And that's what makes us dangerous. Not our weapons, but our ability to change. There was silence. Then someone clapped. Then more. Then a sound. Beep. Varel's blood turned cold. A blinking red light under the floor. She stepped forward, staring through the transparent tiles, wires, metal, a bomb. Ryan saw it too. It's a trap. Before anyone could run, an explosion rocked the chamber. The floor cracked. A section of the dome collapsed. Alarms blared. Chaos erupted. Ryan pulled Varel down as debris fell. Smoke, shouting, screams. An emergency shield activated just in time to seal the chamber. But 3 ambassadors were gone. Dead or missing. Varel coughed, eyes burning. They wanted to kill the message. They almost did, Ryan said, bleeding from his forehead. But not you. Emergency crews arrived. The summit was postponed. Some leaders demanded answers. Others left in silence. Back on Earth, the investigation began. Who planted the bomb? All signs pointed to a traitor inside the base. Then came the surveillance footage. Ambassador Thelen, slipping into the summit hours earlier, carrying something, leaving through an emergency tunnel. Varel stared at the image, heart sinking. He sat beside me, pretended to believe in peace. Ryan's voice was cold. He never did. That night, Varel received a private message. You are not safe. Leave Earth now. Thelen is not acting alone. The Phoenix. She stared at the signature. She didn't recognize it, but her instincts told her it was real. They're everywhere, she said. This isn't just one man, it's a network. In a hidden Karun facility, Thelen stood before a small group of purity sect leaders. He spoke with rage. She is not the seeker, she is the infection. One robed figure stepped forward. We failed to kill her. That is unacceptable. Thelen nodded. The next time there will be no failure. They showed him a strange artifact. An old Karun device. Long band, a soul silencer. Her connection to the crystal makes her powerful, Thelen said. We'll sever it, permanently. Back on Earth, Ryan walked into Varel's room. She stood by the window again, her eyes hollow. You're not sleeping. How can I? She asked. They used my dream as a target. People died. Maybe peace was never possible. He walked to her. You lit a fire in the darkness. The ones who fear it will do anything to put it out. She turned to him. I don't want to run. Then don't. But if I stay, you'll be hunted too. He gave her a small, tired smile. I already am. She reached up, touched his face. We can't lose again, she said. We won't, he whispered. Then she leaned in. And this time, there was no hesitation. They kissed. Soft. Real. The kind that binds two worlds with more than words. And somewhere deep inside her, the crystal flared again. Not with fear, but with love. Savage and diplomat. The sky above Earth shimmered with unnatural light. Not from the stars, not from the dome, but from the Karun fleet, now visible in high orbit, 30 ships strong, surrounding the planet like a noose. Each one bore the symbol of purity, a black circle crossed by a single slash. Inside, the Earth-based sirens screamed across every hallway. Lights flickered red. Emergency protocols activated, and at the center of it all, Varel and Ryan stood side by side, ready to face the end or change everything. They're not here to talk, Ryan said, watching the fleet's movement. No, Varel said. They're here to erase me. Us. Everything we've built. Deep within the Karun flagship, Ambassador Thelen addressed his commanders. The Seeker is compromised. The prophecy was misunderstood. She must be silenced and the human bond destroyed. A commander raised an eyebrow. And if she resists? Thelen narrowed his eyes. Then Earth will burn. He activated a weapon buried in the fleet's core, a forbidden pulse cannon designed to sever neural resonance. It would break the crystal connection Varel carried. It wouldn't just kill her. It would unmake her, and anyone linked to her. Back on Earth, Varel stood before the crystal chamber again. Her body glowed faintly, each heartbeat syncing with the ancient power. She could feel something was wrong. A pressure building in the air. A call to run. But she didn't. Instead, she stepped forward and placed both hands on the crystal. It pulsed, once, then twice. Then, it spoke, in her mind. You are the Seeker. You must choose. Fight, or ascend. She gasped. Ascend? The voice echoed within her. If you bond fully with the flame, you will not remain Karun. You will become something else, something new. She stepped back. New, different, unrecognizable. But maybe that's what peace required. Ryan burst in, breathless. Their ships? Just aligned. They're powering up something big. I don't know what it is, but it's not just for show. Varel's eyes were glowing fully now. She turned to him. They're going to use a soul silencer. It's not just a weapon. It's a reset. If they fire it, I'll lose everything. He moved closer. Then we stop them. She shook her head. No ship can reach them in time. Ryan stepped forward. But you can, can't you? Through the crystal? She hesitated. I don't know what happens if I go all the way. He looked into her glowing eyes, steady. I do. She touched his chest. If I do this, I might not come back the same. Ryan smiled sadly. Maybe that's the point. She turned to the crystal. Her skin shimmered like stardust now. Her voice was soft, but strong. I choose. Then, she stepped into the light. The chamber erupted. Above Earth, inside the Karun fleet, warning systems screamed. Unknown energy source approaching. Thelen turned toward the view screen just as a beam of pure white light emerged from the planet, carrying with it a form both familiar and terrifying. Virel. But not the same. Her body now floated effortlessly between matter and energy. Her eyes were like galaxies. The crystal had fused with her. She was no longer just Karun, no longer just a diplomat. She was the balance, and she had arrived. The Karun ships opened fire, but the blasts simply vanished into her light. Thelen shouted. "Fire the silencer now!" The cannon charged. The pulse began. But Virel raised her hand and the energy stopped, frozen midair, like time itself had bent to her will. "I have seen your fears," she said aloud, her voice echoing in every mind across the fleet and down to Earth. "I have felt your anger, your pain, your pride. But what you call purity is just fear pretending to be power." Thelen stepped forward, shouting into the transmission. "You betrayed your people." She turned her gaze to him. "No, I became more," he roared. "Then be unmade." He pressed the final trigger. The silencer fired, but before it reached her, another force exploded behind her, a glowing red-orange shield. Ryan. His image appeared beside hers, projected from the base. His voice boomed across the signal. "You wanted to erase her to protect your version of order, but maybe what scares you isn't her power." He looked at Virel. "It's her choice." Virel lifted both hands, and the silencer weapon shattered, not from attack, but from resonance. Her body hummed with the truth of two worlds. Her bond with Ryan became a wave, sent across every Karun mind linked to the fleet. Suddenly, commanders dropped their weapons. Soldiers hesitated. One by one, ships powered down. Thelen collapsed to his knees. "What are you?" She floated closer. "I am proof." Then everything went white. 1 week later, the Karun Council convened for an emergency session, not to execute Virel, but to honor her. The Purity sect was officially disbanded. Arrests followed. Thelen was taken into custody. The prophecy was made public, and the words that echoed across thousands of star systems now were not of war, but of possibility. One savage, one seeker. Together, they rewrote destiny. On a peaceful green world, far from politics and battlefields, Ryan sat beneath a tree, watching the sky. Virel walked up behind him, now wearing human clothes, simple, comfortable. "You still think I'm a savage?" he teased. She smiled. Completely. They laughed. No pressure, no war. Just them. She sat beside him, leaned her head on his shoulder. "You never asked what I saw in the vision. What did you see?" "A galaxy that finally stopped shouting." He looked at her. "Because of us?" "No," she whispered. "Because of what we made others believe was possible." Final transmission, recorded by Virel. "To those who still fear peace, know this. You cannot silence a bond born in truth. You cannot erase connection with fear, and you cannot stop change by clinging to the past. I was taught to run from emotion. He was taught to fight through it. Together, we learned to live with it. We are not a threat. We are a bridge."